Welcome to the pod.
We're doing it. You made the right choice yet again, everybody. Tune it in. Congrats on you. That's just going to be a validation podcast. Where it's like, look at you, you smart little fucking goober. Making the right choice. You goober going in, YouTube,
That is a
Spotify.
fun thing, like, in your lexicon of, like, you're such an intense you're like, don't fucking kill yourself, you goober.
That's actually a self-help book I'm going to write, which is... I really try to believe... I don't think most people are interesting enough to hate themselves. Like, there's actually not even enough there to hate. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you should like yourself, because it's like, hate is like, you know, like a Hitler or somebody that's like really dug into
it's like,
evil.
Look at your life. You haven't done 6 million of anything.
Barely do something 60 times. Like, oh, I hate myself. Like, okay, well, yeah, you have to, hating yourself means you have to have done something horrible, which means you have had to have actually done something. And I don't think you're really on that path yet.
You haven't accomplished enough to hate yourself.
That's it. That's even in my positivity, there's still blatant negative where it's like, well, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, fucking get over it, you idiot.
No, you like have chosen to keep living in like the most optimistically suicidal way.
The name of my autobiography, Optimistically Suicidal.
That's like something I think about sometimes is like if you are depressed or like it's like you should keep living just because it's interesting. Even if you're not enjoying it, it's like you are going to be not alive forever. So
Also,
at least
like,
see what happens
it's
here.
coming.
It's so short.
Luck is so bad. Yeah. Cancer, you get hit by a car, fucking climate change. Like, if you're suicidal, just wait.
Yeah.
Like, it's coming. Like, destiny is... just have patience as a virtue. Like, some shit might go down. You know, you never know. So it's like, yeah, you're going to be dead for a long time. You're going to be dead a lot quicker than you want to be dead. So you might as well just see what's up.
Even if you're sad, just ride it out like an anthropologist. If not for joy, for curiosity. Stick around, see what happens.
The
Life's weird.
Lows are kind of hilarious also in retrospect. Like, in the moment, you're like, oh my God, this is so terrible. But then later, you're like, this is hilarious.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone through like old like journals or diaries and read what you've written at like weird moments? It's so funny because I'm like, wow, it's just funny because it feels so true. And then I'm like, I'm actually stupid.
No, I'm
like
an
actually
idiot.
being depressed is like stupid. And I like was not seeing clearly.
No, I was, oh my God. I mean, there's a notebook in there in my closet that I need to burn. And it was last year that I was so depressed. I'm writing poetry like, you know, my darkness is too much to make funny right now. And then, like, I kind of thought, like, this is some deep shit. And then you read it and you're like, get over it, pal. You're like, all right. Like, I'm not even, like, you know, a toxic dude, but I read this and I'm like, just stop being a puss. Like, just grow a pair of balls, you know? Like, and it's like, so, at the time I was like, no, I'm just, basically, like, my tears are falling on the page and making art. And now I'm like, oh my God, like, just shut up.
It's so funny, like, when a stand-up comic starts writing poetry, it's stand-up without the balls. It's like...
there's no twist. It's just, I'm sad.
Stand-up is like, yeah, there's a twist in poetry. Obviously not good poetry, but in the poetry that we're talking about,
yeah,
it's like, I'm sad. And that's it.
And that's everything, you know? And I'm going to have, like, kind of a mediocre metaphor that everyone's used before that I think is fucking amazing. Like, that was pretty much...
Yeah, stand-up is like, you know what I mean? And poetry's like, you could never know what I mean. This guy could never understand what I'm talking about.
Oh, my God. You guys ever notice? You probably haven't, because I'm the only pioneer of this darkness alone.
His stand-up's like, we all kind of are on the same page, and poetry's like, you could never fucking touch me.
Yeah. You could never. I'm the only one that reads off this page. To get rid of the memories of her, I'm burning sage. Yeah, I mean, it's still on it.
Who here is celebrating a birthday tonight? That's cute.
I'm celebrating the anniversary of the death of hope.
A poet doing crowd work, a poet doing hacky crowd work is very funny to me.
Oh, 100%. Where did you guys meet? Do you think one day that'll just be a faded memory on a page of a time you wish you'd forget?
Wait, that actually would be funny to do as a bit at a show.
Yeah.
Seem like you're going to go into normal crowd work and be like, how long have you two been together? And did it fill the hole for you?
Yeah. Do you think in the end you'll remember her name? Or all this pain will have just been in vain?
If you said that at the top of a set in like a fucking like at a fucking bar show, that's the funniest thing of all
Do you
time.
think you'll ever even remember her name? Would just be that, that's the thing. I like am not, just because as a person I'm not very like, well, what do you do? Blah 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 blah. That like my crowd work would just be like, so you think this is gonna work out or what?
I know I get way too mean too fast, so I can't do
sure.
it. I'm like, she looks like she fucking hates you, dude. I bet you fuck weird. He's like, what?
He's like, we just paid a babysitter to come here. And we're like, no, a comedy show will be great. And then this tiny 24-year-old person just jumping on stage like, well, your husband looks like a pedophile. And you're like, oh, okay.
And they're like, we love each other.
We love each other. He actually is a principal for a school for disabled children. And in his off time, he helps cure cancer. But okay. Okay, you mean clown. What are you? Fucking you're a collector of snarky comments you've been coming up with for the last 8 years? Ooh.
Well, I'm going to state something with conviction that I don't even know if I believe. So get on my fucking level, dude. Oh, I'm figuring myself out publicly.
In real time.
Is that good? That's
yeah.
healthy. I'll never regret anything I'm doing here.
Which is so funny because, we both started, like 16, 17. And it's like most
Nightmare.
people, they get to just be kind of idiots in private. And you'll just be like, mainly you or your close friends. Like, remember that time? It's like, there were public performances of how stupid I was. Like, I was putting my angsty feelings into words and traveling across the South, screaming them at people. So it's like, there's a lot of grainy YouTube videos. Let me just say it. Real cringy shit.
Yeah, dude. It's I like that bit. I had some bit about like I was like I'm gonna tackle like narcissism.
I
Like,
remember
I was just
that.
like, and
you're like, depression's actually not. And I remember being at 17 because I was such a depressed kid that I was like, no, that can't be true. I was like, don't you?
The bit was like the bit was that it's like it's It's kind of what we're talking about actually. That it's like selfish to be depressed because then you make a narcissist is someone who's like, I love myself, but when you're like, oh, I hate myself, then everyone else has to go, oh no, we love you, you're great, and it's like you're just like outsourcing your narcissism to get it from other people. It's like self-hatred is like lazy
like
narcissism.
A battery pack.
Yeah, which is not that funny, but is just if I saw a 16-year-old say that, I'd be like, shut the fuck, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
I mean, dude, I had a bit where I was like, I grew up taught to hate authority, so I think as a form of rebellion I sexualized it, and then I
I remember laughing. I remember so clearly the first time I heard that joke. I was laughing so fucking hard. That is such a funny idea.
And I just bent over on stage and acted out like Sarah Palin like pegging me, and that was like
comedy's so fucking dumb, dude.
That's
so funny.
There was never like a talk about cats era of my stand-up. It's like it was always like very like I got on stage like my fourth set. I'm like, I'm gonna talk about my dad's severe mental illness. I'm gonna go tackle my demons. I'm joking about pretty intense drug abuse, and then like it's like what?
I don't know. Have I talked about my theory of like why stand-up is funny on the podcast before?
I think you have.
Okay,
but,
well, I'll say that I won't dive into it, but I'll say it again. It's just that you at like 18 on stage, bent over, acting out Sarah Palin pegging you, like zoom out, that is funnier than any special could ever be. Like that's better than George Carlin. The existence of stand-up that's funnier than any joke.
Also, I drove like 40 minutes I wrote that down. Was like, I need to drive almost an hour. I was excited. I would listen to like intense hip hop about like, I'm on the journey, man. One day this is all going to pay off, Got to 26. I have 87 roommates. And I got to fucking borrow money from friends on Cash App and shit. Like, and then it's like, at the time, I was just like, it's only a matter of time. Tortured artist, the legend begins. I've always had that intensity, though. Like, everything I don't think I've ever, like, done, because I never really put effort into things when I was young, but the second I did, I was like, well, this is going to become, I'm going to become, like, the king of it, you know?
Do you think very, like, my therapist told me recently, she was like, you think very, like, symbolically. And that's, like, kind of true where it's, like, and that's kind of with the intensity thing of, like, I'm trying to think of an example, but, like, if something happens, I, like, extrapolate it to, like, a larger life lesson kind of unnecessarily and improperly.
I used to do that. I steer away from finding symbols and things because we don't need to go down psychosis lane. You know what I mean?
I truly am like, it is psychosis lane because I think about it, when everyone's like, oh, mushrooms, like, you realize, like, that this thing is kind of representative of this other thing. And I'm like, I think like that already. If I go further... If I even start doing, like, astrology shit and start thinking that the stars, I will lose my mind. Like, I can't believe in manifesting because it's like, if I have fucking OCD, dude. Like, I'll start to think that if I think something, it's going to become true. Like, I got to be in, like, real life.
Yeah, like, I was with a dear friend of ours, and we were having kind of a serious personal conversation. We were at a Chinese restaurant, and then I opened up, like, a fortune cookie, and it's like, you now walk the path of light or whatever, and he was trying to be like, man, that's a sign. And I was just like, we can't start thinking fortune cookies are sending me signs because that's a sign that we're in pretty serious trouble. I was like, also, if 12 people ate at this restaurant, 4 of them are getting that fortune cookie. Like, it's a pretty vague thing.
Although I will say, when I was a kid, it was like an ongoing bit that I kept getting this fortune cookie that was like, you will have a wonderful future with your wife. And I was like, well, I'm gay.
There you go.
Yeah, it knew.
Maybe just the person was like, oh, chicken all denim? I'm going to hand him the lesbian fortune cookie. Like, I don't think it's that crazy.
I was rocking, like, dude, like, our friend group in middle school, we all, like, shaved our heads and dyed our hair, like, at the same time. And everyone was like, oh, they're all gay. And we were like, oh, everyone's just, like, stereotyping us because we're cool. And then we grew up and I'm like, we are, like, all queer now. Like, almost everyone in that group is, like, queer now.
Yeah. But is there a thing when you come from, like, a liberal, I'm not trying to sound like Alex Jones, but it's like, it's almost kind of like, yeah, what did you expect was going to, like, you're just going to be straight from Chapel Hill? That's, like, lame.
No, I think everyone is kind of queer. It's like, because the idea that it's like, you know, the thing of like, well, everyone's a little gay, like the Kinsey scale or whatever. It's like, there's probably 5 people ever who are like, I'm 100% straight and there's not a single gay thought you could make me have. Right. I think that's kind of true I think it's kind of true of gender too. Like, I'm trying to do this bit right now, but I kind of believe it that I'm like, everyone's like a little trans. I'm like, what do you wake up? Like, factory settings for me, please. That's insane. Like, everyone has a little bit of something they do that's a little feminine or a little masculine or a little, maybe it's insensitive to say that makes you but do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all more mushy than we like. So I don't think that sounds Alec Jonesy because I don't think that it's because it's Chapel Hill. I think it's because that's like how human beings are. But if you live in a really liberal area, then you call that a different thing, but it's the same like experience no matter where you are. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you just said a gay thing about how everybody's really gay. I get it. Doing a long spiel. No, I think you're right. It's just that, like, you know, a lot, there's like sometimes you get that like machismo, like I would never have, but like, yeah, I mean, there's dudes I went to high school with that were like, I feel like the most like bro-y sort of dudes, and then, you know, they get hammered at a party, and it's like, you know, they start kind of, you're like, oh, there's some gay there, for sure. That's lurking.
I wonder if homophobia has made people more gay because there's probably some people who would be straight, but they have a little gay in them just because it's so taboo, and that makes it hot.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably true. That you're just like, wow, I have this crazy thought that'll make my mom cry if I act out on it. And then it's like, that's way hotter than like, oh, I'm holding hands with a girl and we went to prom. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, like I'm going to get kicked out of my house.
I'm gonna go to hell. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's, yeah. Anytime you have sex and the thought afterwards is, I'm going to go to hell, you're on the right path. You've done something right. If you think that if there's a God, he's going to punish you for what you've just done sexually, you're good. Besides Besides
God,
anything
punish
like
me.
illegal.
Oh no.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
Obviously not anything illegal.
I mean, within the realms of consenting adults, but like, you know, like, yeah, like, oh my God, like a girl just whipped me, and then it's like, am I gonna get? And then is God gonna fucking punish me too? Am I gonna toofer? Am I gonna toofer on
it's
this?
Gonna be a threesome.
Woo! Just Jesus and my girlfriend really giving it to me. No, Jesus is pegging me in the ass, while the Holy Ghost makes me suck his dick.
Father, Son, and Holy Ghost 3-way.
Yeah.
The Holy Ghost is the cum. It's the invisible thing that's everywhere.
I think my thing as I've gotten older is I find I just find men kind of like it's not like, oh, I'm straight because I could never. It's like I'm straight because it's like I get it. You know, there's no like I think some of it's like the same reason drugs are fun because it's a novelty. Like you're not high all the time, and I think the reason we find like other genders attractive is we're like, whoa, I'm not like interacting with this all the time, but like I'm a dude, I'm with other dudes all the time. They're simple folk, you know, like they're not that. I wouldn't be like, whoa, how are you? And I'm like, I get it. You're kind of a bore. You do the things you got to do, and then you jerk off, and you like sports or funny. A TV show. You're not that complicated. Like I need someone to hold me. I like a soft, comforting presence. I don't need. Life's already hard. I don't want a hard dick. You know what I mean? I already got the dick of life fucking me in the ass all the time. I don't need to go suck another dick. All right? Reality is already trying to make me gay with how much it fucks me in the ass. So I need like a nice comforting, because what is a vagina? Other than just a nice little, it feels like a sauna, like a safe room. Like you could kind of go, like you're like, finally, if I could hide in a vagina, which I've tried to do emotionally, I would for sure. If I could just go back and just curl up and be like, I'm okay. Like, oh my God, woman cuddling you, great. A guy cuddling you? What are we in war? That's your bombs falling outside? Get the fuck out of here. Get your disgusting, unmoisturized hands off my fucking body.
War.
It means nothing to me. Like woman's like, oh my God, like you're funny, and I'm like, oh my, and a dude's like, yeah, bro, I have to know a guy for like 8 years before they're like, I think you're pretty cool, and then I'm like, this is meaningless. The fucker, and what's that gonna do? You know, we're just like, we're gonna have like you can't have any in-depth conversation about anything unless you've had 18 beer. Men have to literally, we have to get alcohol poisoning. We have to be like literally vomiting, and then we're like, yeah, I don't love my dad. Like that's what it comes to. Like I could go on.
Men's secrets are held. Whatever the layer is after alcohol breaks through your stomach lining, whatever section of skin is exposed there, that's where feelings are.
Yeah, that's it. People, that's literally it. I mean, it's. I think that's what it's like. Love my family, and it's like, especially like Salvadorian, it's like kind of like drinking culture. You're like fucking real man. I swear to God, this is the only time I've ever have like in-depth conversation. It's just kind of like we have to be like basically dead. Have to have like 5 whiskey shots, and he's like, you're a good man. You take care of your family. And I'm like, this is what it like. We can't just say this. We can't just say this over a fucking, over breakfast, over an orange juice and some eggs. You know, we gotta like fucking. I'm gonna die when I'm 65 because I want to have some nice conversations with my uncle and my cousin. So it's just like, yeah, and I could grab coffee with one woman and I'll be like, you know what? That honestly, like, yeah, like I'll just be way more vulnerable than any conversation.
That's so interesting.
At least that's how I feel about it.
I wonder. I haven't seen that perspective as much because I wonder if, like, guys talk to women. Do you think guys talk to women in more vulnerable ways, even platonically, talk to women in more vulnerable ways than they talk to other men?
For myself, I 1,000% do, and I think just because I've and that's unfair to women, I think, because I think also it's like, well, they shouldn't have to put up with like whatever emotional sideshow you're going through. Like,
yeah, they're getting the bundled up. You're like, I meant to say this to 30 guys over the last 10 years of my life, but I'm going to give it all to you instead.
Yeah. And granted, I have some very close, dear guy friends of ours that I could have those kind of conversations with, but that's rare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, for the most part, it's like a lot of, you know someone for years, I swear to God, like drugs or alcohol, something has to be involved for someone to get like deep. That's what I liked in like high school, was like, my favorite part was just like, wow, people are finally talking about something kind of substantial. Because it was just like the most boring, everything's so surface. You know what I mean? And it's like, we can't I think that's why more dudes probably do stand-up, is like, well, we're just so, everything's deflection all the time.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Because it's like, everything's so like, I just said something kind of sensitive or whatever, and it's like, well, we can't just sit in this fucking moment. We gotta deflect quick before the feelings start. Say something funny.
And men are kind of only allowed to say a serious, vulnerable, or emotional thing if it is funny, or if it is like they have the upper hand at the end of it.
It's a great way. It's a great way to kind of code say what you're trying to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like look at stand-up differently, because now I'm like, oh, what's the like pain under? I'm like, this is men trying to like be like, please listen to me.
Yeah,
I'm hurting.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, everybody listens to men, which is true, and have a shitload of power and privileges. But it's like, also like, not with other men. You know, it's all like, so I'm just very like, bleh. and there's no it's either you're like this macho, like I never talk to anybody, or you're just like a complete like wussy. I write like fucking poetry and cut myself. It's like, there's a middle, my God. You could be like a person that's in touch with your feelings and admits that you're having them on this earth, without being like, oh, I'm falling on the floor cutting myself because someone didn't text me back, or I've never had a feeling ever. All I do anytime, gym is my therapy, which is one of the saddest sentences I've ever heard of humans. There's so much.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the algorithm spits stuff out at you, I'm like, fuck you, YouTube, because it'll just come up with like, I listen to a lot of like, when I work out, I listen to a lot of like hype music, and it's so sometimes it'll just come with like, grindset, never fucking let them down, like gym therapy, and I'm like, no, I'm not that guy. Dude, yeah.
I get those too, because I'm getting into weightlifting, and so I was like going on Instagram being like, where do I fucking start? And like following people. And then you get to this level of like people who are like, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I drink fucking gasoline, and then I like get in a cold shower. It's like insane. It's like suffering. Yeah.
I was some video popped up, and it was a guy that's like, I work all day until I fall asleep. The only hobby I could even say I have is working out. And I'm like, that's a personality disorder. That's a sickness. You work all day. What are you trying to outrun? You don't hang out. You don't hang out with your family, friends. I don't know, occasionally do something just for the shit or giggle. Everything is just, I will fucking outwork them until they love me. Like, no,
and it's also so crazy because I'm like, you fell for capitalism, dude. Like,
We
think
did.
you're like, I'm a fucking beast. And like, what you're really saying is like, I suck the fucking capitalism's dick so fucking hard. It's like, you think you sound cool, but you're like, I work so hard for no money, and it's going to pay off.
Yeah,
and it's
I
like,
am the
you're
best
actually
peon possible. Imagine like a coal miner. Like imagine the grindset thing in the coal
miner.
Yeah, where you're just like, you know what? Other people are unionizing because they want to see their kids and eat bread sometimes, but that's not me. I eat the crumbs off the floor, and then I snort cocaine because it's still legal, and then I just fucking keep going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. My hands are bleeding, and I'm only 12, but I'm not about it because one day I'm gonna have my own mind, and I say we make kids even younger. We got a lot of stillbirths. We're right before they die. They should put in a goddamn shift at the factory. like, shut up.
One day I'm gonna have my own mind is like, that is the disease of it. You're like, I work fucking 24 hours a day in a coal mine so that one day. It's like, so that one day nothing. So that one day you can die in a coal mine. Like, it doesn't.
So that one day you can make other people work in the coal. That's all it is we're like, oh, if I could just work hard enough, I can escape, and then I'm the oppressor. Like, and then
it's like a motivational video of like, you gotta climb the mountain. You gotta keep climbing this mountain till you get to the top, and you zoom out, and you're like, it's a mountain because it's a pyramid scheme. That's what you're getting to the top of.
Yeah. Why do we have to climb a mountain again? Why are we here? Like, no one asks. Like, who?
There's
put
a
us
meadow
on the
over
mountain?
there.
Yeah, guys. Why is it set up in a mountain? Why can't we walk like a nice, clean path to good? Why is there so much elevation in this thing?
Could we sit under a tree, maybe?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, could we take a little meadow break? And they're like, no, it's the mountain. Carry it. Dude, I am so guilty of this all the time in my life because I'm fucking poor. My fucking first generation immigrant parents disabled. I'm like, I've taken my fucking family out of poverty. And it's so hilarious to do that and be doing stand up because I'll just be listening to like fucking one day these people are gonna see it, and then I go on stage and I'm like, how about anal? And it's like, what? You're a clown. You're a joke of a man.
Yeah, you're trying to ride up the mountain on like a unicycle.
Yeah. Could you imagine like a clown who has like the same attitude as like Little Baby, where he's just like literally just clown face paint on, and he's like, they never took me seriously. These haters fucking coming up against me day one. You go out and you're like, boop, 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 and you like take a little balloon and tie it around your head. The mountain you carry was meant for you to climb. Suffering, it's turned into something. I'm a recycling plant. I turn these scars into set lists.
And then you fucking are pulling scarves out of your mouth.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Putting a clown, but it's like red war paint under your fucking eyes.
So motherfucker. You bottle the tears, then turn to a little spray bottle and coming out the flower, spraying children. Oh my god.
He reaches rock bottom and fucking drunk driving swerves his car into a building, and then 17 people get out of the car.
Yeah, like, open. They're like trying to get the car out. The cops are chasing one of them and they can't get.
We can't give 25 DUIs.
Yeah, what the? We need to call for backup. And they like throwing bananas and the cops are slipping all around.
Putting on the clown shoes every morning. I got big shoes to fill.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
That's me. I'm that guy. that's a loose metaphor for how I think about my life. That's how. Yeah, that's what I dedicated my life to. Is I'm putting up the cloud, being like, boop a doop doop. This is wacky, man. I'm like, these fuckers. You're all gonna see. Oh, you're not answering my appeals now. When I come headline this club, I'll put 5 bands in my mama's hand. I'll tell you it's gonna be okay. And I'm writing jokes, inherently silly things.
Yeah, that is when you know you like lost the plot. Is like I've been like sitting before and I've been like, Maddie, focus, be funny. And it's like that's not funny. You gotta be like hanging out.
Taking yourself seriously is the least funny thing that one could do.
Really not,
yeah, like especially when you live a silly, like again, got 84 roommates. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of
Oh, you've lost 3 since last time. That's good.
Yeah.
It was 87.
It's a cruise. The Patreon's really coming up. You know, it's like what? It's hilarious that I'm the savior of my like a dumb didn't go to college, was like, you know what's gonna work out in this dying medium? The jokes. And then have pursued that, Forrest Gumped my way into a decent day job. Through an alcoholic that I knew from North Carolina, who I've not talked to in years. Matt, if you hear this, I hope you're okay, and please get some help. And now I've made enough that I support, like, me. The guy... The guy that used to skip class and come in just reeking of weed and horrible decisions, and now I'm like, fuck, man. I mean, we gotta flip the hat. Like, I'm the one who get decisions.
That's so funny because we've like Benjamin Button style gone totally opposite directions. Where I kind of fumbled the bag choosing comedy.
No, you fumbled the bag. No, because you had your parents.
I was like a straight
companies.
A student. I wanted to be like a physicist. Like I really like. I was so into science. I like tried to go to this like math and science boarding school, and I was like, I really was like. And then I found comedy, and I was like, I'm gonna do this forever. Like I fully like if I hadn't done comedy. I should have like tried to go get like a PhD or something. Like I was on track for like a kind of better life, and I fucking downgraded.
And we traded up. We traded up. Now I'm living, you know, because I was on track for pure just Breaking Bad extra for sure. and it was just like now it's like I've literally accidentally stumbled into what people wanted for me all along. So nobody could be. Everyone's like, oh, what? That kind of accidentally worked out. You know, it's like it was like a car crashing and then just going into a met. Like you were like, oh, that's about to go right off the rails, and then it's like he just turns it around. He's like, I'm fine.
You jumped off a cliff to try to kill yourself, and you're like, it's a ball pit.
Yeah.
How fun is this?
Well, this is kind of cool. Look, I found all these prizes.
You tried to hang yourself, and you were like, "Wait, it's a claw machine! Oh my god, I win!"
Oh my god.
Oh shit! Well, dude, we hit 30 minutes. We didn't even get to our news story, but should we save it for next week? I think this was like a fun
I think
app.
we save it for next week. The news will be
Hell
there.
yeah.
I think we had a good time. Please check us out. Watch us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We need you. And share the clips. Check me out. I'm on Instagram at Kenyon Comedy, posting clips, stand-up dates. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't know, I'm assuming if you listen to this podcast, you know this, but we're both stand-up comics. And that's the whole point of the thing is, come find us on Instagram. I'm Maddie T. Wiener. I'm going to be doing some road stuff soon, so, follow me there if you want to come see a live show. And check out our Patreon, too. We have a bonus episode every single week where we get to the juicy, kind of behind the paywall stuff.
Behind the paywalls. And we're already pretty goddamn vulnerable in this one. So imagine behind the paywall. It's just me and Maddie openly weeping. So check it out, please.
All right. Much love. Bye.